Hey, it's blog time. Thursday. That's 3 day countdown to the marathon. So I let's see. Today, water for one. um, I usually work out Thursday evenings. I rescheduled my appointment with my personal trainer to this morning, so I got up for early foam rolling and stretching session rather than workout. So could have done upper body, but we thought the stretching session would be a nice way to kick off the week. So did some stretching, some foam rolling, and then I treated myself to a sports massage. I actually scheduled it like over a month ago, um, and I don't do massages very often, but I thought a sports massage would be kind of a. It's really just an excuse to get a sports massage. I don't really feel like I needed it necessarily, but I kind of changed my tune on that after some work on my legs, like on my calves. I was like, wow, those are really tight. Who knew? I'm not really in tune with that, I guess. So, um, anyways, so that's what's up. I had my spaghetti last night with some of that fresh sourdough bread. That was delicious. And now I'm trying to drink my water for today. This has my Baja salt in it, as well as some baking soda, which is how I drink my water. Um, Not too heavy on those things, just enough to get some electrolytes in there. And yeah, so I don't really have any thoughts. I don't know if somebody I got asked today. I was like, "Are you nervous? Are you excited?" I don't know. I guess I'm kind of excited. Maybe I'm excited for it to be over. Nervous. I probably would say I guess I'm nervous. I don't really know how much I care what the outcome is, but um, I just, I'm curious to see how hard it's going to be after 22, 23, 24 miles. I don't know, I don't know if I am a hit the wall guy. I know some people are, some people aren't. I have a feeling I probably will be, it'll probably be hard. I'm guessing it'll be hard. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. I did have a thought though about the marathon that I thought I would talk about. Uh, I watched a couple like recap videos on things like my first marathon or a recap of what we like these runner groups thought of a marathon or something, and or like tips and tricks, or like what was the other verbiage they use, like things you should know before um, and there was something that nobody mentioned that actually has been on my mind as someone who's a first time marathoner, don't really know what to expect. Um, it's bathrooms. Nobody's talked about them at all. So I'll tell you why I was wondering why I thought they might talk about them. Well, first of all, I know on my long runs, I was drinking more water on my long runs. So um, I like when I run a half marathon, like I've never even stopped at an aid station on my halves. I've never stopped at a bathroom. Um, I think I've maybe carried like minimal, like maybe taken like one goo in a half marathon, maybe once. So, and maybe that's not the best way to do it, but I'm not running for, to podium. So I've just been running to kind of finish and, you know, maybe just experiment with a PR. I'm not really inexperienced in terms of like trying to run for time. So, um, but on those runs, I have experienced several. I kind of paid attention to the aid stations and the bathrooms, and On the runs that I've done up until now, there's been huge lines for the porta potties during the race. Like 10, 15, 10 people deep sometimes on some of the porta potties. I don't think I've ever seen a porta potty with less than at least one person waiting for the person in front of them to come out. Maybe one or two porta potties have I ever seen that like didn't look like they had anyone in them. And this video I was watching yesterday, they were basically talking about kind of like small wins or small time gains, you know, how to kind of get their time by small wins. And I'm trying to think of some examples. They were talking about maybe the type of shoes they were wearing, or like being efficient in terms of how they do their water, or when they do their aid stations, kind of like just like trying to maximize their time so that they don't get too far behind by things like that. But they didn't mention bathrooms, and I know from my long run that when I was drinking more water, so I was doing a pre-run. I did a pre-run tailwind, so that's a whole bottle of water. I think I did a whole bottle of water before that earlier in the day, and then probably some water after the tailwind. So like one or two bottles of water in, and then I would carry like a soft flask, which I think is like 350 milliliters, and drink that over the course of 16 to 20 miles. So I was going to the bathroom about every 4 miles. I was lucky enough that on my runs where I was running on this bike path, that's about how far apart the bathrooms were, and there was no one in those bathrooms. So I would just pop in, use the bathroom, wash my hands, and leave. And I wouldn't stop my watch. I think the first couple of times I paused my watch, and then I realized I don't want to do that because I feel like I get a better kind of average if I don't. And so thinking about this marathon, I'm like, well, based on the runs I've done, I want to be sitting at those bathrooms for like 5 minutes at least, depending on who's in the bathroom and, what they have going on with their wardrobe, trying to get their wardrobe back together before they get back on their run. So I was surprised that nobody talked about that. Now, what I'm thinking is it must be because maybe on the larger runs like this, maybe it's not an issue. Maybe they have plenty and there's no lines, and it's something I don't have to worry about. So I'm going to go with the assumption that I don't have to worry about that there's going to be no lines. But it's just something I'm kind of curious about, just again, based on what I've seen in some of the half marathons and 10K, 12Ks that I've done. Just there's always been lines for bathrooms, and I thought that was strange, because I was actually kind of looking for that to see if anyone had any like tips and tricks on YouTube about maybe ways to avoid any slowdowns that way. But I guess it is what it is. So you suck it up. It's part of the run. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Stay salty.